Yo, what's up, everybody? This is William from For the Billions. Hope you guys are doing well today. So today I wanted to talk about this topic that something that I've experienced myself that I'm sure that other people are experiencing right now in the job market, which is when these recruiters they're just coming up with new ways of disqualifying you. So I wanted to kind of talk about this topic, see what you guys think. Have you experienced something like this before? And if you enjoyed this type of content, please go ahead and hit the like button. Maybe a small click for you, but it means a lot to me and I would really appreciate it. So, what do I mean by recruiters are coming up with more elaborate and complex and new ways of disqualifying candidates? So, let's say this, right? You have gotten your degree or you've gone through a boot camp. You have gained experience through getting a job. You have certifications, or you have different projects that you've worked on. So you have all these different things that you worked on that have made you an ideal or a more better candidate for a position. So you're a better candidate for the position. You have an advantage because you actually have experience over a whole bunch of other people. And now that you have gained all this experience, and then let's say you're looking for a new job, well, in my own experience, I've noticed a few things that recruiters will say. So some of the recruiters will say, "Hey, I know you have experience. I know you got your degree. I know you have certifications, and I know that you have I know that you have projects that you've worked on, and you have a network and all these other kinds of things. I know you have all those things, but this person has one more year of experience than you. So they're just 1 year older, 1 or 2 years older than you. Can you go ahead and go down on your salary? We want your salary expectations to go down because this person is just 1 or 2 years older than you. A few things I'll say about that, right? This has actually been told to me, and I know that other people have experienced this as well, because they feel a little too comfortable saying it. So I'm sure that some people have said yes to it. If they give you pushback like that, like, "Hey, your salary is a little too high. Do you mind to go down on it so that way you can be competitive in the market for this role?" I would suggest telling them no. Okay, and the reason why you tell them no, and the reason why you stick to your number, is because if they don't value you, like if the recruiter doesn't even value you, they will not stick up for you. If you won't stick up for yourself, they won't stick up for you. Definitely, you will. Essentially, it's a test. If they tell you, "Hey, can you go down on your salary?" It's a test to see if you are even confident enough in your abilities. And it may not be something that they teach them in, like, when they were trying to become a recruiter, like, "Hey, your salary," like, you looked up your salary ahead of time, like, okay, yeah, I see the average for this role is around $90,000 to $100,000, and then you ask for between $90,000 to $100,000. They tell you to go down to 80 or something like that, and you're like, "Wait a second, so you want me to be below the average?" Like, when you look it up, I'm looking up, I'm going for below the average. They want you to go below the average because they think below. I'm saying it wrong. They think of you lowly. They don't think of you highly. They think of you as, "Oh, okay, well, yeah, you can probably do the job, but I really don't really like you like that. I really don't like you that much, and I'm not going to advocate for you. I'm not going to be your champion." When people say, "Hey, we're trying to get this candidate in here," you're kind of like the last option that we choose, and you don't want to be the last option that they choose, even if you get a job, right? You don't want to be like, "Oh yeah, I'm just the diversity hire. I'm just the last option. They really didn't want me. Everybody else said no to the position. I went down on my price." And it's more so just a confidence thing. And something I heard when I went to the Comcast offices with the Urban League of Greater Atlanta for Young Professionals earlier this year, one of the speakers I asked them a question. I asked the question of, "How do you know when you're ready to be a leader?" And the answer they said was, "You're already a leader." One of the things you have to do, like, when you're trying to get into leadership, like a leadership role, is that you have to look at the competition of people who are already in leadership and look at what they're actually doing. The guy said, "Hey, I'm looking at what they're doing. What makes him think he can do the job better than me?" And not even to be arrogant, but I can do his job even better because I love my job. I can do the job even better than that. It's time to get to work. So when he said that, I was like, man, that applies to so many things in my life. So another guy, he's like 1 year older than me, and then you want to give the job to him more because he's just 1 year older or like has one more year of experience. His experience may not even equate to the same amount of years of experience. I could have had 3 years of experience that could have trumped his 6 years. You know, and my work ethic is so good, or my community is so great. I have so many different connections. I have certifications and recommendations, and I know how to get people to say, "Hey, he's like the best thing since sliced bread." When I left my last organization, people were crying because they knew if I left, then things weren't going to work right. They really enjoyed me. They said I'm a people person. And then all these things. I worked on these big systems that really helped the organization. I saved them on millions of dollars, or I've generated millions of dollars just based off my role. These are some things that you need to say when people are trying to test you in that way. People tell you, "Oh, you need to go down on your price because it's just too much," but you already did the research and you saw what the average was. I ain't asking for nothing crazy. I'm asking for like the average, or I'm asking for like something on the higher end, but still reasonable towards the role. If you do things like that, like, hey, I want to be on the higher end of things. I don't want to be on the lower end. I don't want to be below the lowest. I'm not the scum of the earth and nothing like that. I want you to have confidence in me, just like I have confidence in myself. So that's one of the things I noticed that some recruiters would do. Another thing is that because you're trying to grow within your career, you already have experience, or maybe you don't have any experience at all, and you're just trying to learn new things. For the people who have experience, I noticed that certain recruiters, they will say, "Oh, well, they really want somebody with this." And as soon as I hear something like that, "Oh, they really want," that means that even if you have it on your resume or you've worked with it before, "they really want" makes it sound like you don't have it, or I don't think that you're a good fit for that role because of this one thing. A lot of recruiters are wanting perfect fits. They want a perfect fit for that role. That means that if you had worked in that same role already, everything needs to be the same. Now, when I'm talking about technical roles and roles in corporate, everybody's different. Every company is different. Every role is going to be a little bit different, right? You won't have the exact same role or the same task that you have to do. But what I think recruiters are thinking is that everybody has to have the same exact tech stack, or everybody has the same exact tools that they use. It's not like you getting a job at Walmart or McDonald's or Taco Bell or something like that. You're not getting a job at those places. You're not getting a minimum wage job. You're trying to get a job that's going to help you with a career. You're trying to get a job that can help push you forward. You're trying to get a job that can help you be marketable in the industry. They want you to have worked in the same industry, doing the same tasks, working with the same tools and the same infrastructure. The people already. They want you to have all these things set up, which is impossible for everybody to have unless you hire somebody who already had the same exact position, same job. That's the only way you can get somebody who is the exact perfect fit, who worked with the same thing already. Because, as an example, not every company uses AWS, despite AWS having the largest market share in the world as far as cloud computing. Then is Azure, and then is Google Cloud Platform. But right now, there are so many people so many companies who use AWS, but so many companies who use Azure or Google Cloud Platform, right? So if you have experience with Google Cloud Platform, but then they're an AWS shop, they're looking at you like, well, even though, right, all of the cloud platforms, they base their stuff off Apache tools, open source tools from Apache, right? You're trying to apply for a data engineer position. Oh, well, we want you to know whatever the equivalent is for Apache Spark and Apache Airflow and HDFS and Hadoop and all. Like, they want you to know all these different tools that are all based off the same thing, right? Like for Google Cloud, you have Google Cloud Storage, and for AWS, you have EC2 and S3, and all these different acronyms, but they all based off the same thing, and they do the same thing, have the same use case, right? So, if a recruiter or somebody tells you, hey, they really want somebody who has this experience, this exact experience, and even if you have something that is comparable or something similar to that, they're like, nah, we like, you never worked. Like, I had a recruiter tell me this before. I told them, like, yeah, I use GCP for from the majority of my career. That's just the companies. That's just what they use. And then they say, "Oh, do you have any experience with Azure?" Well, I've done a workshop with it before. I'm familiar with it. I just never worked with it professionally. That's just not what they use. And then you tell them that, and then they say, "Oh, okay, well, hey, this role really requires Azure." Okay, well, I can just learn Azure, right? Like, I can just learn how to do it. No, you need to have already know exactly what to do. So then that's the interesting thing. Why would I want a position that I can't grow in? I can't learn anything new. If I knew everything already, then I wouldn't take the position. Like, oh, you want me to take your job over my, like, if I was working, I have a position that works with let's say I have a position that works with Azure right now, and then the tech stack is Azure, MongoDB, and Microsoft SQL Server or something like that. So Microsoft SQL Server goes into Azure, and then from Azure it goes into MongoDB or something like that. So that's the tech stack, and then the next company uses the exact same thing in the exact same way, and then, like, yeah, you could probably take that position, but how am I gaining more skills to be a better fit for the market if I just stay the exact same? If the pay is the same, if the tech stack is the same, if the location is the same, like, if everything is the same, what is the point in moving from one company to the other? Right? If my role is the exact same, like if my role doesn't increase in level, if it doesn't increase in title or responsibility, then you're not gaining anything by going to the company. So why even go? That's just some of those things. I would have to have a reason, like a bad manager, in order to want to leave or something like that. Like, it would have to be something driving me to go to that other organization if everything was the exact same. So that's just some things to take into mind, to take into consideration when you are looking for these roles. The job market is pretty difficult out here, and I want you guys to be as completely prepared as possible. That's something that I'm working on right now. I've been networking like crazy, aggressively. I've been going out my way to get as many opportunities as I possibly can, and I even hired a career coach. I have gotten so many great tidbits from different mentors and my career coach and my network that has helped me out tremendously with my job search. And I've been interviewing, I've been doing those, and of course, like, if you don't post it online, it didn't happen. But trust me, like, I have been interviewing quite a bit and studying a lot. I've been getting certified in different things like Databricks, and I have been putting in a lot of work in order to become a more marketable and ideal candidate. And if none of that stuff works as far as getting a job, one thing I can tell you is that I'm living a more fulfilling life, and that I will just have to find new sources of revenue or new sources of income in order to kind of take care of things. And I'm just going to keep improving myself, because you can sit there and try to prove yourself where you are currently, or you can start improving yourself and have them come to you and give you opportunities. I think that's a better use of your time and effort, to keep improving yourself and stop trying to prove yourself. Okay? So with that being said, guys, hopefully that helped you all out. Please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And also hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified whenever I make new videos on YouTube. Please, guys, go ahead and check out the links in the description down below, so that way you can check out the Before the Billions newsletter and also the website. In addition to that, if you want to be able to speak with me or anybody else within the BTB squad, I would really appreciate that by clicking on the Discord link that is in the link in the description. That being said, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Do not forget to build your billions.